And we're live.
Hey,
Yo, we're here this week.
we did it.
We did it.
Actually here.
At the top of the show, I will apologize for last week. I didn't even reach out to John because I was like, you know what? I was sick. I was so sick on last Thursday that I didn't even go to work that day. I was just coughing.
Oh,
And
you were that sick. I was just like,
yeah,
well, Paul didn't reach out and Sean's gone. So I guess there's just not an episode this week. All right,
I
cool.
was even lamenting it too, saying like there's so much news that I actually want to talk about that happened this week, but I can't like get two words out without coughing. That's why I stayed home. I didn't like feel terrible. It was just one of those things that like I was coughing so much that it didn't make sense to go into work, so I just answered emails at home basically. But yeah, so my apologies for last week. There is so much to talk about from last week and this week that we'll get to that. But more importantly, I wanted to talk to you about how your trip went, because that's happened since we last convened as well.
Oh, shit. We did Coliseum. Oh, no. I thought
Yeah,
like, man, right. Okay. Holy cow. Yeah, no. We came back from Coliseum, I guess now 2 weeks ago, or a
yeah,
week and a half now. And we had a fantastic time. It was actually really good.
awesome, cool. Uh, it was what, 4 days or three? I think
3 days.
3 days.
So
Yeah,
the actual event was Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
right. Okay, but you went a little bit early to set up and whatnot, right?
Yeah, we went in 2 days early and we left a day late. So
Yeah. Cool. Did you? I don't remember if you guys like set actual targets that you want to hit. Did you hit your target
this
though?
this year we didn't because of all the stuff that had gone on.
Of
We were like,
course.
we don't know what to expect. We don't want to overextend because we don't know what's going to happen.
Of course.
So we were just like, this would be great. And I think with merch we might have gotten pretty close to that.
Okay. Cool. Glad
But
to
we
hear.
raised 270,000 by the end of the event.
And
That
what
was
was the charity
US.
for again?
Direct relief. It's our main
Direct
one.
relief.
Coliseum and direct relief are tied together.
Gotcha. Right. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Any highlights from there that you wanted to shout out or reminisce?
There's some really good segments that happened during it. I got
Okay.
to be an esports commentator for competitive nap time.
What does that even mean? Competitive part.
We had two people napping and we were testing their heart rate monitors during it, and we basically saw who spiked the most during the hour. And we had
Okay.
people coming in. Yeah, chat could mess with people as much as they wanted by like taking away comfort and adding comfort and like summoning in random events. It was pretty funny actually.
Okay. Okay. Pretty funny. Yeah. Pretty good.
I did a segment where it was John versus the chat, where chat had to stop me from beating a game by any means necessary.
Okay, so crowd control
Which
ish in some ways.
sort of like, yeah, they would pay people to like distract me in whatever way they wanted to. And
Oh, real life crowd control. Okay, got it.
yeah, so there were some very creative distractions.
Yeah.
And also during that one, every $100 people could write whatever they wanted on a shirt, and one of us had to wear it. So by the
Oh
end of the
no.
segment, I was wearing 20 shirts on top of my shirt.
Oh Jesus. Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
There
Okay.
were some really good segments. So those are all going to start going up on my VOD channel in the next day or two. I think tomorrow the all the bumpers and the animated intro go up, and then Saturday it should start posting segments.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool.
Lol
Any,
sounds sweaty says dead. Yeah, dead. I was wearing a suit originally because I didn't realize it was the same day. So I was like, I'm just wearing like a dress shirt, a vest, and then I'm just putting 20 t-shirts on top of that. It was not great.
are you able to announce where you were, or might you go there again?
Well, we might end up there again.
Okay,
We're
let's not
sure.
do that. What was roughly the temperature?
When I got there, 30 plus degrees.
Oh, that's disgusting. Okay.
It was disgusting because I literally left Calgary late night, early morning, and it was like 0.
Yeah.
And then during the actual event, it cooled down a bit to about like 19, 20. So it was actually really nice.
Oh man.
Other than the rain, it was raining a lot.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Cool. So another year done for Coliseum, though, in the books.
Yeah.
Feel pretty
Yeah.
good about it, I'm sure.
Felt pretty good about it. Yeah. So I'm excited for next year now.
Nice. Nice. Cool. Other than that, did you do anything else? I know you've been saying that you've been doing a lot of like work stuff, like catching up on
Yeah,
I'm guessing
I
stuff.
basically got home. I took a couple days off to just kind of rest and relax, and then
Of
I've
course.
pretty much hit the ground running since. I had a stream Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Mm,
and then I have this now. Tomorrow's the only day this week I basically didn't have anything to do, and I guess Sunday. But yeah,
sure. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, I saw yesterday you were doing a I can't remember what you call it, but it's like a multi-stream thing with like a
oh,
bunch of people.
Archipelago.
Archipelago, that's right.
So yeah, the Archipelago works that everyone plays ideally different games, and they
Okay.
unlock content in their game that unlocks stuff in other people's games. So like
Oh, yeah.
my morph ball, I think was in like Mario 64.
Right.
No, yeah, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, my Dark Pearl was in StarCraft 2,
Oh,
or
what?
my Moon Pearl rather. So I couldn't do the Dark World of Link to the Past because someone had to beat a specific stage of StarCraft 2.
Weird. Okay.
It's fun to do. I think we were live for like 6-7 hours going through it all.
That sounds like, yeah, like an event sort of thing. Like you're going to be here. That's today. Today is this and only this,
Yeah,
basically.
pretty much.
That's
And then
cool.
Sunday, I'm doing another one of those for fun with friends. I don't think it's on stream, but yeah.
Cool. Nice. Anything else happen since you've been back or anything? Anything fun?
Not really. Lots of resting. Lots
Lots of resting. Yeah. Cool.
Because Kyle took a lot out of me, so.
Sure. Yeah. As I said, as I started with, I was sick, so I actually didn't even play games the time I was sick. I kind of, maybe it's weird, but I kind of like when I'm sick to just be like, this is rest time. Like, I'm not going to play games that might get me stressed out. I'm not going to watch crazy, scary movies or anything like that. The stuff that like I normally like to do in my hobbies can also be somewhat stressful at points. So I like kind of being, when I'm sick, I'm like, no, I'm just going to like chill, watch crappy garbage TV that doesn't matter, and just relax on the couch. That's what I do. So that's kind of what I did over the weekend and the week. But yeah, let's jump into this edition of the Top-Down Perspective. It is May 16th. I'm Paul Fleck.
I'm John Wheeler.
And Sean is out in assignment getting some good stories for when he comes back at some point, which I don't know when that is, to be honest with you. I thought it was this week.
Either. Well, I hope it is. I better hope it's next week because I'm not here next week.
I don't think it is next week. So, for what it's worth, I've been wanting to do just like a dumb. If I have to do a solo show, I've been wanting to set it up as a call-in show where people can call in.
Oh no, dude!
I know.
Oh, that's dangerous.
I know. It would be great and like a mess, but if that happens, maybe we'll look into that. So get your dumb questions ready so I can kick you out of the call for that. All right. I'm going to do a quick check-in because I don't have a whole lot that I did because of my sickness. I'm back on the Rebirth train because I finished Stellar Blade. Oh, I guess I didn't say that on the stream or on the show. I finished Stellar Blade. That ending is meh. That story is okay. It's pretty stupid, pretty bad ending fight for one of the endings. I've seen 2 out of the 3, and then I YouTubed the third one. That game is very good. I find it very fun. I really like the combat in it. Everything else is hit or miss. It's like bad Nier in its writing, but it's like good Nier in its gameplay. So you take it or leave it, I guess.
So would you say it's worth me picking up? Because I've basically stayed away from like the AAA console releases for the past little bit.
The parrying and stuff is really good in that game. Because that game, it is kind of hack and slashy where you don't have stamina, but it rewards you on countering and parrying and then following up and like punishing the enemy with like extreme attacks. So this spectacle, it's kind of Bayonetta-y in that, but like instead of you just like building up to like a special thing or like using your like special powers or whatever, after you do a parry, you can like do a combo that will just like eviscerate something or whatever. And the parrying in it is pretty good. There is this weird almost delay that happens that makes it easier to parry. But the problem is that all of the enemies kind of do like combos on you. So if you miss the first parry, being able to parry the rest of it feels kind of bad. But if you get the first one, all of the rest in the subsequent combo are easier to get because there's almost like a slowdown so that you can just like hit the button in a rhythm and you'll get every single one of them and then do like a crazy counter. It's very, very good. It's parry heavy and counter heavy, which some people definitely will not like, but that's what I really enjoyed about it. So yeah, it might be worth checking. That demo is there and it progresses into the game. Like the save file keeps going, so you could try that demo out and see if you like it. That would be my suggestion.
I'll have to give it a check.
Yeah. So that's done, and I'm back on Rebirth. I hit the point of no return last night, so that is probably going to be finished this weekend, I would assume, and then I will be free from that game. That game, when it gets to the story stuff, is still so cool, and I really like the story in that. I'm so sick of the side shit, though, but now I don't have to do any of that anymore, so I'm happy. I'm happy to see that thing out. Because people, apparently that ending is really polarizing, where a lot of people are like, oh yeah, that ruined the whole series for me, or like, that was amazing, or whatever, so I want to see that thing for myself.
So it's the same as the reaction was to Rebirth, or Remake's ending, basically.
Essentially, yeah, I think so. And I liked the ending of Rebirth. Well, besides the whole, like, it cuts off completely because it's a 3-parter. I kind of like what they did with the big dumb fight at the end, so I'm excited to see what they do on this one. And then the other thing I have here, I just wanted to give a shout out. You remember Mark and Other John, like you've met at least Other John once, but Mark, we used to do 4 Idiots together with, MD7 is what he goes by. Yeah. They made a game. Well,
what?
John has been making like little games, but they did a game jam together, and it's on itch.io for free right now, and I really enjoyed it a lot. I was ready to just be like, oh, this is garbage, and like just give them shit or whatever, because that's what you do with friends. But I ended up just like playing it so much I started speedrunning it. I really enjoy it. So what it is the game jam theme. I guess for anybody who might not know, because I don't know like how familiar people are with stuff like that, game jams are basically like a theme is set for like this event, and then a bunch of indie developers spend a certain amount of time to get something out using that theme, trying like different stuff out or whatever. It's very big in the indie scene. And this one, I guess, was a week, maybe 2 or whatever. They did it in a week. I guess they both took time off like work, and they spent that time doing that for fun or whatever. And the theme was power or whatever, and what they made was a little platformer where you play a robot who every action you do completely like drains his power level, and when his power level is completely gone or depleted, he blows up and dies. So you have to get through a level of turning on all these different little generators or whatever to turn on the big generator, and you get different power-ups, like the ability to sprint, I think is the first one you get early, then a jump, because you can't jump right away or whatever. And it's really about how you manage your power to like get through the level to get more like little power-ups and stuff like that. It's really, really cute, really cool, and I just wanted to give them a shout out because I thought it was neat. And if anybody wants to check that out, it's, I think, Atomic Box. It's atomicbox.itch.io is John's itch. So ATOMIC and then box, all one word, on itch, and you can check that out. He has a few other things.
Now /power search for the game.
Yeah, for that game. He has a few other little things on there.
Pretty good.
Yeah, so Mark did all the stuff that wasn't the programming Unity stuff. That was all John. So they worked on the different things there. Yeah, it is kind of difficult, just as a heads up to begin with, until you kind of get the feel of like how much even just walking will deplete your energy level. But yeah, I don't know. It's fun. It's a fun game. And I was, for once in my life, I was proud to call them my friend.
It took forever, but it happened.
Yeah, it took 38 years, but here we are. That's all from me, though.
All right. I played a bunch of stuff this week on stream that
Yeah.
I've been curious about. All new releases. Let's start with Animal Well.
Yes.
That's a Metroidvania that's really fucking good.
I heard the puzzles in this game are crazy.
I had someone tell me, like, I played the game for, I think, an hour and a half on stream, and I had someone say, like, yeah, you've been sequence breaking for the last, like, 20, 30 minutes. I just didn't know how to tell you.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, yeah, you can just do shit wildly out of order, and it still flows well. I had tons of things I could do on the map, but I was still finding stuff. I was still getting upgrades and abilities, so, like, it's really enjoyable.
Oh, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I got to be completely, like, transparent. This was the first game published by Donkey, and Donkey said some weird thing. Well, not weird, because it makes sense.
He said he was only going to publish, like, hits or something. Only going to publish good games.
He said something about, like, why don't people just publish good games? Or, like, that's what I'm going to do. Like, I'm just going to publish good games or whatever. And everybody's like, yeah, all right, idiot. And apparently he's off to a good start.
Yeah, this I think has a 91 on Metacritic or something like that.
Yeah. It sounds really, really cool. It sounds difficult when it gets to, like, end game level puzzles, but it sounds like it was kind of intentional, kind of the way, you know how, like, the community came together to solve Fez or Tunic or any of these, like, giant puzzles that took multiple people taking little parts and putting them together. I guess this has a lot of that sort of in it.
I had heard that from some people in chat. Someone said there was one puzzle that took 25 people to solve or something like that.
That's crazy. That's so crazy. And it's made by one dude, right? This game, from what I
believe
heard.
so. Yeah, it's a very small studio, if not just one dude.
Yeah, I think it's one. Sorry, go on.
Comet says it's like Environmental Space Station Alpha in terms of endgame puzzles.
Okay. I don't think I know what that means.
That's another Metroidvania.
Gotcha.
Puzzle platformer.
Okay. I think the art style is very cool and very cute.
It's very Cave Story.
It is. I was a little bit worried, though, because it's also very drastic. And I was worried that it might get, like, hard to look at if you spend a lot of time on it. But
it is very visually poppy. Like very
contrasty, I think.
Contrasting. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Which might be a problem for me because I find that as I'm getting older, it's harder for me to do certain things, like look at certain things for a long time like I used to. But how much did you say you played of it?
About 90 minutes worth, I think.
90 minutes? Okay, cool.
And I had, I think, 4 of the 8 or 10 items for traversal.
Okay. What is the, what's the word I'm going to say? What's the, like, end goal sort of? Like in Hollow Knight, it's like you find a giant egg thing and you want to, like, get to that because you know it's the end and you have to go through some stuff to get there.
So there's no dialogue or anything like that. It's very open world, just figure it out yourself kind of deal.
Right.
But there's like a tiny cutscene at the very beginning of the game where they show 4 flames that light up and they just kind of disappear and move away.
Gotcha.
When you eventually get access to a map, you will see them on the map. So you have to go figure out what the 4 flames represent.
Okay, cool. Yep, that's enough for me. Apparently it is a sole developer. The reason why I wanted to kind of like repeat that as well is because I think a lot of people maybe I hate when somebody with a big name is like tied to something like Donkey, because I've seen a lot of people say Donkey's game. It's not his game. Like, this is one dude that spent a bunch of his time and effort putting this together, and like it's great that Donkey's getting it out there and he's like free publicity for his own publishing company and stuff, which is great. But like, I just wanted to clarify, he's not the developer, and that dude deserves a shitload of credit as well. That's it. That's all. That's the only reason I wanted to bring that up. That it was the one dude. Okay, Crow Country. I keep wanting to say Crow County, and I have to like.
I was
myself.
The same thing. I'm like, is it county or is it country? No, it's country.
Yeah, it's a like abandoned theme park set around crows or some bullshit.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Exactly.
Yeah. This is an old style PS1 era throwback survival horror game. And yeah,
But if you don't like survival horror, you can just literally turn it into an adventure game. You can
yeah.
straight up turn off combat.
Oh, completely. Well, I heard there's
Yeah.
not much combat even to begin with, so but yeah, that's great. That if you just don't want that at all, you don't need it. That's very
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, I had at least one boss fight, I would call it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I had an enemy that showed up in a room that had no exit otherwise and took a lot of hits.
Gotcha. Yep.
But, and, like, you get, like, grenades, you get shotgun eventually.
Sure.
But, yeah, no, that one's also very interesting. I believe it's done by the Snipper Clip devs.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I was surprised by that. But, like, it's a very, very faithful PS1 era feeling game, right down to the point that you can use tank controls if you want to. You don't have
Yes.
to. But like if you use like an Xbox controller, the stick will actually just move your character like it would in a modern game, and then the D-pad will actually give you tank controls.
Yeah. I played the demo for this, and I've been, since this was like a concept art thing somebody posted on Twitter, I've been following this guy and this game because it's exactly the sort of thing I want. The demo is very cool, but like a little too short for me, so I'm excited to get into the game this weekend. How much of it did you end up playing?
About an hour-ish as well.
About an hour-ish. I heard it's a little short.
I
too.
goofed. I goofed because I died before I got to the first checkpoint, or first save room. So as a result, I had to restart the entire game.
Oh no, that sucks.
Yeah, the first instance of combat is right before you get access to saving. So yeah, shot myself in the foot there, unfortunately. But other than that,
is it? The demo started off with like you making it there, and there's like a dude bleeding out or something. Does the game?
Yeah, you find the dude bleeding
way?
out. That's in the intro. Yeah.
So that's okay.
I think you generally got the intro of the game. Like, yeah, you walk through the park. There's
Gotcha.
no enemies. Then you find a dude bleeding out. You bring him back to the car.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
Again, the thing that I've heard about this game, besides like aesthetically awesome, is apparently the puzzle design is like the perfect amount of stupid 90s bullshit that like makes sense in its own dumb way, but doesn't actually make sense in real life, sort of thing, which is great. Perfect.
Yeah. No, I'm well, the bit I played, I'm like, oh, then this feels like I'm playing a Silent Hill game right now.
Yeah. Cool. No, I'm stoked that you actually played it. This doesn't seem like it would be really up your alley necessarily, but like you like older stuff, so
I do have a soft spot for that. I didn't play Resident Evil 1 until much later, but like I played the Resident Evil 2 and enjoyed it. I prefer the more modern Resident Evils, but like I do enjoy like the classic ones.
Yeah. Would you say you like the aesthetics and like what they're doing with that sort of thing?
I definitely like the aesthetics because like I like that PS1 aesthetic is now kind of coming into its own thing.
Oh, I love it. PS1 aesthetic
like
my
Pseudo
favorite.
Regalia did that. This is doing that. So there's just a bunch of games I just like. I appreciate that feel for it, even if I don't have as much nostalgia for that as I do 8 and 16-bit.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's great. It's great because things are changing now where the reason why we got so much pixel art stuff and like 8 and 16-bit type games was because the people that grew up in that era were making games, and now the people that are making games for indie stuff now have the nostalgia for the PS1 and the N64 and stuff, so we're seeing more of that, and it's very cool. I like it. It's very neat. Okay, final thing you played is
Little Kitty Big City.
So is this Untitled Goose Game with a cat? Is that what this is?
Yes and no.
Okay.
You have to find your way back to your apartment because you fell down from the top of your apartment building.
Okay.
You run around being a cat. There are some goose-like things you can do, like you can literally like swat at people and make them drop their phones or food, and you can steal them. There's like you're trying to collect little trinkets so you can get fish or like new hats for your cat to wear.
Okay.
Fish are literally stamina upgrades, like in Breath of the Wild, so that you can climb things more.
Okay. Cute. Very neat.
It's a little wonky on the physics at times. I actually did clip through a wall like without even trying at one point and got stuck in a ventilation system. But like it's very charming. Like the writing is very funny. It's very like lighthearted. Mm-hmm. Everyone's very quippy and like all the little characters that talk to you are like all other animals. They're like super charming. You can do a bunch of cat things, like you can pounce on birds and steal their feathers. You can walk up to people and get pet, or like like nuzzle into them.
Cute.
Yep, you can climb walls. There's like a pounce meter, so like you like make a little like arc appear, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna jump over there. So that's how I platform around if I want to be careful. You'll get kicked out of stores if you walk in there because you're a cat. They'll just pick you up and like stick you outside. So you got to be sneaky with certain missions. Like the last thing I did in that was I had a bunch of ducks follow me around because I had to like bring all these ducks back to their father.
Okay, yeah.
So I just had this army of ducks following me around as I was like leaping around. I found a dog that lost its tennis balls, so I had to go like climb around and find those and stuff like that. It's very much like a very chill, laid back game. I think it's only like 4 or 5 hours. It's fairly short.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just all about like, yeah, just do whatever you want. There's like a bunch of side missions you can do, like, oh, like I can drop off garbage and get for recycling and stuff like that, or like I can get all these bird feathers, or I can just like, I think one of the missions was literally just break 10 pots because you're a cat and you just like to swat at things.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
I don't think it'll be remembered as fondly as Untitled Goose Game was, because that one you're kind of more of a threat, more of a dick. But like,
Sure.
it's definitely like a fun like cat like simulator sort of game.
Okay. Cool. I'm looking forward to playing all 3 of these games. It's just, and we were talking a little bit before while we were setting up. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes came out today, so like,
Yep.
I don't know when any of this is going to happen.
Too many good things came out at once.
So many good things, yeah. I mean, Power Surge.
What was I gonna say? Did I even talk about when I played through Aiden Chronicles the other like?
No, I would love to
like,
hear about it
stuff.
because I was actually looking forward to seeing how that is.
Yo, you ever play Suikoden? That's motherfucking Suikoden.
Okay. I heard that people were mad that it wasn't more so, though. Can you confirm?
That's fair.
Okay.
I only played 2 hours of it.
Okay.
But like it is, you build up a party. You got people that attack in front row, back row, middle row. They got special abilities. Some of them team up and stuff like that. Although they take their time easing you into some of that. There's magic runes and shit. Like, as someone who played through mainly Suikoden 1 and like watched a little bit of 2 and 3, like that felt like I was playing Suikoden 1 again.
Okay. Interesting.
So like most of the dialogue that I encountered was like all voiced. So they had a pretty good voice team for it. I know at some point you do build up a castle, but I heard it's fairly far in the game, just like you would in Suikoden. I know you do army battles at some point, but again, much farther in the game.
Sure, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Lineback kind of puts it the best way. If you like Suikoden, you will like it. If you don't like Suikoden, you'll probably won't like it. Because it is very much feels like a classic JRPG.
Oh, I do like classic RPGs.
Like the PS1 era classic RPG.
Yeah, is it short? I heard that it's kind of short.
I heard 20, 30 hours. Let me see what How Long to Beat says.
Yeah. I guess for like the type of game it is, that is quite short. That's perfect for me.
So there's like 2 Aiden games as well. Yeah, there's like 100 Heroes, which is the Suikoden one, and then there's Rising, which is like I think a beat 'em up action game.
Okay. Right.
100 Heroes. It's in the red right now, so this is not completely accurate, but 42.5 hours for main story. Main and extra is 60. Completionist is 82.
Okay, that's not short. I don't know what people were saying.
Take that with a grain of salt, because it looks like only a couple people 8 people have been pulled for main story.
Oh, yeah.
Shortest was 37, longest was 45.
Okay. I had, for some reason, I had also heard, or at least was thinking 20-ish hours, which is short for that type of game, but 30 plus, I would say, is sounding more correct.
That sounds more like a PS1 era RPG.
It does. Yeah, it for sure. Cool. Anything else, or it's
Not
been 2
that I
weeks?
can think of.
I guess you
that
did
was from a while back. Like,
yeah,
I was working basically. So like any gaming I did was either like for fun, like I busted out Gradius 5 for a bit,
sure,
or was like lacrosse.
I also don't talk about just the random like, yeah, I played this for a bit, and so I get it for sure. Cool. All right. Well,
oh boy.
With that being said,
it's time now.
Let's jump into the news. So,
There's so much.
So, I don't remember the last time we've had so much news that I was able to separate it by platform for each one.
I forgot. I didn't even notice you did that. Oh, no.
Yeah. So I'm going to go through them platform specific. Then there's some Square Enix stuff. They had a bunch of things happen. And then we have a kind of like a grab bag of stuff after that. Okay, let's start with the big one that happened 2 weeks ago that I really wanted to talk about, but we couldn't get a show done. The Helldivers 2 thing. So Helldivers, a game that has been beloved by almost every single person that's played it, had a little bit of controversy when they announced that going forward, people would need a PlayStation account to sign in and play with other people. This caused a huge riot by gamers, to which I think a lot of people, I don't know if like maybe they just didn't know exactly what was going on or whatever. Unfairly, maybe we're saying, oh, people are just mad that they have to make another account. There is definitely some
I
of
misunderstood this because I thought it was just that. I'm like, come on, like it's
a lot of us
you can do
did.
it.
Yeah.
Then we realized, oh, there's like 100 countries or something like that.
I think it's
that don't
200.
have access. Yeah, that don't have access to PlayStation Network, so they would lose access to the game.
Yes, completely. And this is after they've been able to purchase this game on Steam, completely fine or whatever. So it's a pretty big problem that PlayStation knowingly put out a game under their umbrella to places where they don't service PlayStation accounts or whatever, PSN accounts, and then forced people to have to sign up by, I guess, illegal means would be the only way, if we want to call it that or whatever. But most people just wouldn't have means, so they basically paid for a game that they're not going to be able to play at some point. This caused a huge backlash. People started going in droves to give negative reviews and kind of just bombed the devs, which is a little shitty, but we'll get to the devs in a second. To the point where PlayStation finally retracted and said, listen, we mishandled this. We didn't realize. I think they said something about like, we're new to the PC space or something like that. Just something like, I don't know, fingers like touching together, like we're sorry or something, just some bullshit thing or whatever. So they retracted. They said the update that would have forced you by May 30th to connect your account will not be going forward. I think I also just want to like make sure people understand that even though they said that they're lying. They didn't completely retract it, because what they did is that they took Helldivers 2 off completely for PC out of those countries anyway. So,
which is insane. Insane.
So they were doing damage control. There will be a point, assuredly, that you will need to connect your PSN account. You didn't get away with it. But the good thing is that we didn't let them get away with it either. So they were, for the people that like still have it or whatever, they're able to still play until PlayStation gets their shit together and actually makes it so that you're able to sign up for their PlayStation Network and everything is copacetic on their end or whatever. I'm kind of not even against the idea, because if they're going to have it playing with a console or whatever, it makes sense that they would want their weird own infrastructure for certain reasons or whatever. But there's also the other side that's like, I don't want to give PlayStation my information because you guys have had multiple security breaches within the last couple of years. So like, I kind of get that if you're not in the thing already and you hear, oh, PlayStation just lost like 100 more credit cards to scammers or what, like, I could see why you'd be like, fuck Sony, why am I giving you my information? You guys can't keep that shit safe. So I get it, but like, yeah, I don't know. I also understand from their point of view that if there's going to be parity with the consoles and they have to like have their own ecosystem, it's going to come at the price of you having to give up some of that stuff and make an account in their ecosystem to use it or whatever. It's unfortunate. It's a weird problem. So more of that happened here. The community manager for, I can't remember their name right now. What's the company that makes the game again?
Oh shit, it's the Magic of Devs, but I don't remember the name.
Yeah, I can't remember it either. Oh my god.
Looking it up. Helldivers 2 devs are...
Yeah, Arrowhead.
That's not the site I expected
that's
to
right.
get up. Arrowhead, okay.
Yeah, Arrowhead. So the community manager...
So I tried to bring up Helldivers 2 on my search, and the first result that came up wasn't Steam. It was a site I do not recognize, which I think might have been also for either pirating or getting the game extremely cheap.
Oh, God. Okay. That's kind of funny, at least. That's kind of funny. The community manager reportedly was fired during this whole debacle for encouraging the community to put pressure on PlayStation and keep having their voices be heard, which surely helped Arrowhead CEOs and like the upper brass talk with PlayStation and get that stuff worked out or whatever. Because it sounded, so this is why I said like we need to come back to the developer for a second. The developer knew from the beginning that you would need a PlayStation Network account. They put it, even the first time you load up the game, there is a thing saying like you need it.
You need it, yeah.
The reason why it wasn't enforced was because apparently it was causing a lot of issues and like server problems or whatever, which maybe that was even part of like why their servers were so shitty at the beginning. Who knows? I'm not sure. But they kind of like thought like we'll deal with this when we come to it, and you didn't require one until now or whatever. So the devs knew about it for at least half a year that you would need it. They didn't push it at all. They have, I think, some blame in this for not being way more transparent about that, but also
I do wonder if they were even allowed to be. I think
Yeah,
like when I saw the
know.
post from the community manager to being like, please like keep negative reviewing our game or like keep refunding the game to kind of send a message. I'm like, oh, someone's getting fired.
Totally. Yeah, totally. And also it is important to remember that the devs themselves don't say where they can sell their game. That is up for publishers, PlayStation, or Sony in general to do. So that part's not their fault, but like, I don't know. It's just a shitty thing. I just found it funny that the community manager kind of went down with the ship to make sure that it was able to at least float back to shore or whatever. So
I mean, that game was everywhere. Everyone loved that game. That thing took a huge hit because of all this.
It did. I found it really funny that wasn't like one of the prime objectives when like people were happy again, like go to Steam and like leave a positive review to like counter it or something.
Oh no, I thought that was a joke someone did.
It's probably a joke. Real? But one thing that wasn't a joke is they made a cape with the ratio thing. Like, you know how on Steam it shows like the blue and the red bars?
Are you kidding me? They did that?
They apparently did that.
That's really funny. That's really funny.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And people were saying, why does it look kind of great, though? It's like, yeah, it kind of does, honestly. It kind of does. During this whole debacle, there's actually... So all of the news, I'll say, for like that we're going to talk here, this is all just about how games have changed and how people are... It's very weird and interesting to me, because all of these news articles are about how the way we used to think about games have completely changed, and this is kind of like the growing pains of it. So Ghost of Tsushima came out and said, hey, listen, you guys are going to need a PS2 account if you want to do multiplayer also. Just as a heads up or whatever. And then that was met with Sony also pulling Ghost of Tsushima from the same regions that they pulled Helldivers from, because you need the PSN account. So what that reads to me is that you don't need it for single player, which they've said you won't need it for single player, but Sony doesn't want to deal with the bullshit anymore. So they're like, you know what? It's just better to get them in. Let's work on getting it so that you can make a PlayStation account in these other places or whatever. Let's reach agreements or whatever. And I'm sure it'll come back when they do. I'm going to skip over one thing quickly here, which kind of makes me wonder, this other news article where Jim Ryan is officially being succeeded by 2 CEOs now instead of just one. and they're basically going to be co-CEOs going forward, where one CEO will take care of studio stuff and the other will take care of platform stuff. And I'm wondering if some of this is even, you can even explain the like growing pains of whatever, where like there wasn't somebody looking at the platform worldwide. This is why this happened, because like there's just too much work now at Sony for one person to oversee it properly, perhaps. I don't know what this means going forward for Sony, but starting June 1st, we will be recognizing Herman Hulst, who will be the CEO of the studio of PlayStation Studios, and Hideki Nishino, which will be the CEO of platforms, and they will both still report to Hiroki Totoki going forward. So
Nothing
yeah,
like having multiple people working in a job that was normally one person's.
it's very, very odd. Yeah, I mean, the proof will be how good they do or poorly they do with it going forward. But tied to that as well, and the whole way the gaming industry is changing, Sony recognizes that the gaming industry is changing, and they have stated that they are focusing no longer on tracking how many units they sell of games, but more how long they keep people in their like infrastructure with games.
That does worry me a little bit.
Engagement. It means live service, right? That's what they're focusing on. Live service.
It means live service, or it means game bloat. One or the other.
Both. It's probably both. Yeah. Frankly. Yeah. I'm guessing this is like largely to do with them looking at things like Destiny and being like, we have a really engaged audience that has been with this one single game for 10 years. And then they see Fortnite and they're like, we have a ginormous audience that are like, just the fervor with this game is crazy. So how can we monetize people by being in the ecosystem, not necessarily them buying things that we sell them or whatever? So that's kind of where I think everything is going in this gaming industry, which is in some ways exciting to kind of see how the evolution is going to be. But being the pessimist I'm a little scared about what this means. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. The other news thing for PlayStation is they finally are doing invites properly on their system, where you can just send a friend a link or a QR code and they can join your game through that. That's just good. Like, yeah, that should be there. That should just be there. Why not? Make it quick and painless. Unlike Nintendo, who will never be quick and painless when they do anything online. Okay, so that's PlayStation. That's the majority of their stuff going on.
All that was just PlayStation. Let's move on to Microsoft.
There was a moment where people were so excited because Bobby Kotick was dead. Activision was up for grabs. And Microsoft, the hero on the horse that slain the Kotick dragon, was saving the princess, Activision. What we didn't realize is that Activision is actually poisoning Microsoft.
Hooray!
What we didn't realize is that Activision was the dragon, basically. So Microsoft, in a profoundly stupid, unprecedented move, in my opinion, anyway, shut down multiple studios and did some restructuring that we know of. And Alpha Dog Games, creators of this cute little Doom game that I was playing.
Doom.
Mighty Doom, yeah. I was playing that on phone for a while. I thought it was cute. It was fun. They shut them down. That's not right. Sorry.
What?
Sorry, I misspelled something.
Oh,
They shut down Arcane Austin. Yeah. Woo. They shut down Arcane Austin, probably best known as the failures that made Redfall, unfortunately, or the failure that was Redfall. And Tango Gameworks, which is kind of the one that I think hit everybody the most hard.
Hardest, yeah.
Also, Roundhouse Studio, that used to be Human Head, I believe is what they were. They did the Blair Witch games, and maybe most notably to people like you and me who are old, Prey, the original Prey, where you played a Native American dude who gets abducted by an alien race and has to fight his way out, like a Doom clone almost. So they got absorbed into ZeniMax, who do the Elder Scrolls Online stuff. So they're not going to be making anything interesting anymore either. The big thing here, though, Tango Gameworks, best known for Hi-Fi Rush by most people that play video games currently. Also known as the company that Shinji Mikami made Evil Within with. And what's that other one that came out semi-recently?
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Ghostwire Tokyo, yeah. Was completely shut down, people let go or whatever. And I think the reason why that one hurt the most is because Hi-Fi Rush has had critical acclaim since it came out, beloved by every single person that played it. But the problem is, I guess, is that it just didn't make enough money for them. I'm guessing is the problem. Like, I don't know. None of us really know what else it could be, right? It has to be money, because it reached every other metric that Microsoft complained about the next day, even saying, we need more games that, well, I'll just read what he says here. We need smaller games that give us prestige and awards. Like, what are you fucking talking about?
Didn't Shinji Mikami himself, or at least someone from Tango, straight up tweet like, was this not enough? And showed a picture of all the awards that Hi-Fi won? Someone did. That either was or is still at Tango.
So the thing that annoys me is that I'm pretty sure Shinji Mikami knew this was going to happen, because he left Tango like a month ago. And I was wondering, why would he leave his own studio like that? And then he left to create another studio. So I was wondering, like, what the fuck is that? And it's probably because he was told, since he was the leader of the studio, oh, you guys aren't going to exist in a month, so, like, yeah, if you need to go, go. And, like, that's... Part of me is also mad that, like, I'm guessing he didn't tell anybody, but I don't know, maybe NDAs were signed. I'm not overly mad at him,
I do wonder about that, yeah.
Yeah, because...
So, Hi-Fi Rush apparently did have some sort of, like, problematic development cycle, too, didn't it? Someone said it was in development for a couple years in private? Or is that also just, like, rumor hearsay trying to, like...
Yeah, I'm not sure about... that. I'm wondering if it's weird, because Hi-Fi Rush, like, I think a lot of people thought or discounted that it wasn't going to do very well at Microsoft, because Tango Gameworks is known for doing horror type stuff, and this was completely the opposite. It was their side project that they were working on. So, like, I don't know, the fact that they released that, it came out within like a month after being announced, didn't it? Or maybe like that week, wasn't it?
It was a same day. It was a same day release.
It was same day. Okay. It was just dropped out of nowhere, and it
was a shadow drop.
It won BAFTAs and like Game of the Year awards for some different publications or whatever. Like, it was really beloved, and somehow it wasn't enough to keep them, which said to, I think, everybody. I saw the sentiment everywhere on Twitter that day and those days that, like, there's no safety at all anymore. No. There might have been back in the day.
Game development sucks ass now.
There might have been back in the day, but there's just no safety. Like, the reason why if you're like talented enough or whatever and you get a job, you don't want to go indie, is because you need a company to pay your healthcare benefits, to keep a check going even when like things aren't going great or whatever. Like, you need that structure or whatever. And now, like, there's not even a point, because you can put out one of the most critically acclaimed games of the year and still be fucking shit canned like you're nothing. It's crazy. It's so disheartening. So yeah, like, honestly, I've bitched about this before in like to other people and to like in private or whatever, but like it gets a little bit annoying when you look at the game industry stuff and you're like, yeah, more layoffs happen or whatever, and then people like do whatever they do to like maybe sound like they care or whatever, but or can't do anything. It's like, yeah, layoffs suck. Every industry unfortunately faces them though, and like that's kind of the way business is. So like at some point, some of the layoffs, I'm like, yeah, that sucks, but like That's life, unfortunately. This one is very much no, this is actual bullshit. This is a weird, like, there's no fucking reason why this one had to happen specifically.
Yeah.
I can understand Alpha Dog Games. They made, like, a tiny little mobile thing that wasn't doing very well, wasn't selling a whole lot of, like, units or whatever. Probably is only, like, maybe 10 to 20 people. I don't know. But, like, I get that. That's... Yeah. Even Arcane Austin to a point where it's just like, listen, guys, we needed Redfall to really do something, and, like, I'm sorry, but, like, it just didn't or whatever. I kind of... That sucks, too. I get it.
I feel bad, because they were still working on Redfall. They were still making patches and content.
Yeah, they were trying. They were trying, for sure. But even, like, as a business decision, I get that, because that caused a lot of problems for Microsoft in a lot of different ways. But Tango Gameworks... It's, like, actually inexcusable. That's, like, evil capitalist bullshit right there. That's evil shit right there. Especially to have your fucking dipshit loudmouth moron here the next day say, we need games like Hi-Fi Rush, basically.
That was so tone deaf.
Like,
so
fuck, dude. What the fuck? Ugh. Blood boiling. Boiling. It's so hot. I'm so mad. In maybe a little bit of better news, I guess, for Microsoft's sake, they announced the Proteus controller, which is a cool little modular controller with a bunch of, like, little balls, essentially, that you can stick together in different forms. It's an accessibility controller that you can kind of, like, set up however your hands or whatever, however you can move. And it looks really, really cool. Microsoft,
that looks awesome as heck. Yeah.
Microsoft has always been pretty good about the accessibility stuff, and this is no exception. This looks so cool. I kind of want one for myself just to see what I could, like, do or play with. It's pretty neat. It is a little expensive at $299 starting, but yeah, I mean, if you can't move your hands well or whatever, then $299 to play a bunch of games or whatever is, I'm sure, fine for you. More in Xbox stuff. The Xbox 360 store is closing soon-ish, and as a last hurrah, they've reduced a bunch of their stuff. So if you still have a 360 and you want to buy some stuff, maybe go take a look and see if some games that you would want are on sale. There's a bunch of deeply discounted things here. Let me just grab a random one here. Far Cry 4 is 80% off. What else do we have? Cloudberry Kingdom is 80% off. Alien Rage is 90% off. My Body Coach 3, I don't even know what that is 90% off. Sniper Ghost Warrior. Yeah, so just a bunch of random stuff. Maybe go take a look to see if there's anything you want, and they're going out of business.
Space Invaders Infinity Gene, that's a good one.
Oh, okay, yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. And then the latest news that actually I just read today, that was released today, which is a kind of weird, unprecedented thing for Microsoft after what we were just talking about. Microsoft's Activision team is opening a new game studio in Poland called Elsewhere Entertainment. And apparently they have some devs that worked on Cyberpunk, Last of Us, Uncharted, etc., etc.
Oh, wow.
They're saying all the things like, yeah, we got an alum from these different things or whatever, but yeah, they're trying to make AAA games in Poland. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to me that they would be willing to invest in a whole new venture after firing a bunch of people that were extremely talented. Also, you know what the other thing is? I'm going to stop harping on this. The other fucking weird thing is that Tango Gameworks is the only Japanese dev that was in their purview, and now that's gone.
Yeah. Are they just giving up on the Japanese market now, then, in that case?
Crazy. It's absolutely crazy to me. And, like, listen, Ghostwire Tokyo, as much as I kind of liked it, it's kind of a garbage game. I get it. Like, they could do better. But Hi-Fi Rush, man, come on. Oh, Hi-Fi Rush was so good. I don't get it. Nintendo decided they needed to make some news. So they did just a bunch of random stuff. None of it overly important. Every time Nintendo gives an announcement, I always like that the CEO has to describe who he is in the tweet, which is pretty good. So I'll just read this tweet exactly as they put it out. This is Furukawa, president of Nintendo. We will make an announcement about the successor to the Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. We will be holding a Nintendo Direct this June regarding the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the latter half of 2024. But please be aware there will be no mention of the Switch successor during that presentation. Fiscal year means that they're probably going to announce it in April of next year, just so people temper their expectations a little bit.
So wait till next year or like a very late one this year.
Yeah. Yeah. On the plus side, though, the thing I do like about how Nintendo does stuff, when they announce something, it's out in like 2 months. It's like, yeah, this is coming out. Like, get ready. Save up the next 2 paychecks because it'll be out at that point. Other stuff in Switch news, you will no longer be able to use Twitter features from Switch, which is tweeting out to it and putting out like pictures or whatever directly from the console, or adding people via the friends suggestion on Twitter function if you used that.
Now, Nintendo was the last holdout. The other 2 companies had already dropped that service.
Yeah.
So apparently the main thing is like, I think Twitter's API now costs like, was it 14,000 or 1,400 a month? I forget how much it was, but it was like some disgustingly high amount.
Yeah. Elon's trying to make that money he wasted back on that. Like, people need to remember, Elon saying that, like, I'll buy it or whatever and run it better was a joke that he couldn't back out of. So he is trying his hardest to either kill it or make money off of it.
Well, he's doing good at one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The last Blue Sky, by the way.
I love Twitter. I love seeing people melt down. I've been enjoying it, especially because I don't have to engage with it. It's just like, listen, if I was you, I understand, because I would have to do it for my job. At my job,
I'm mad about that. Yeah.
At my job, I get to read it and be like, "Ha, idiot," and then go back to like not living on Twitter. So I get why you would hate it for sure.
Yep. Yeah.
The final thing I have under Nintendo is the 2 of the Joy-Con drift lawsuits that came out a few years back. If you remember, there was like some kids or whatever putting together a class action lawsuit saying Nintendo sold them Joy-Cons knowing that at some point they would get stick drift. Those have been thrown out mainly because in the TOS, Nintendo has it that if there's a problem, they should file for arbitration instead of a class lawsuit, so it was completely null. And also, since 2020, they've been fixing stick drift for free for people that send it in. So they've been trying to make right on it. So yeah, those are thrown out after 5 years. Okay, Square Enix. Square Enix is basically dying. Is the title. They are going to be aggressively pursuing multi-platform strategy. What this means is that they're sick of losing money to having PlayStation take like Final Fantasy, basically, is what the big thing is. Which makes sense because when you read the next thing I have here, they took their worst tumble in 13 years. They went down 16% in their shares. So...
Hey, guess what happened? No, never mind. That was way farther back. Never mind. I'm wrong. I'm
Which
way off
one?
on time. I was going to say, guess what happened 13 years ago? I realized that was 23 years ago that they ended up having to merge with Enix.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because, like, Final Fantasy, named appropriately back in the day for being the thing that brought them out, them putting that on only PlayStation might be the thing that kills them. Perhaps that's it. This scares me because I like a lot of Square Enix IPs and titles, and I don't necessarily want them to die, especially because I really need to get back to Final Fantasy XIV and catch up on that story. That thing is sick. That story is very cool.
They've got their new expansion coming out next month. So.
Exactly, yeah. Nier is one of my favorite series of all time. Like, so yeah, I don't want this company to die. So they're doing restructuring. They're trying some new stuff out, I guess. And what that means, of course, is layoffs.
Hooray.
Sound the layoff alarm, because they laid off, does this say how many people? Or I think they kept that private. Yeah, they haven't said how many people necessarily, but they are making an unconfirmed number of layoffs as part of their company restructuring. And apparently it's going to be publishing, IT, and their indie games labels that are going to be affected heavily because of it. So that says to me that if you like Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, you're probably fine. If you like anything that is smaller than that, unfortunately, it might be dead.
That sucks, because Square does put out some good indie or smaller stuff every now and then.
I really like Foam Stars. All right, I'm saying it.
Really?
I think it's fun.
You're like the first person I've heard say that.
I've been playing it. I think it's fun. You know, the problem with Foam Stars is I can't tell anybody to play it because they would have to spend like $40 or some dumb shit on it. That thing isn't free to play. What are you doing? Okay, I feel better. This is like therapy. I just have to yell sometimes.
Therapy for someone else's job.
Speaking of free to play, Marvel Rivals got into some shit. Marvel Rivals, for anybody that doesn't know, because I did not sign this contract that I'm going to be talking about, is Overwatch for Marvels. It's Overwatch. It's Overwatch. There. They have a non-disparagement agreement in their playtest contract that they made content creators sign. And this non-disparagement agreement says the content creator agrees not to make any public statements or engage in discussions that are detrimental to the reputation of the game. That's standard. That's fine. This includes, but is not limited to, making disparaging or satirical comments about any game-related material such as game features, character, or music, and engaging in malicious comparisons with competitors, or belittling the gameplay or differences of Marvel Rivals, or providing subjective negative reviews of the game. So now, I know you have signed many agreements when you stream games and like sponsored stuff or whatever. If you are representing a game, it makes sense. I can't go to work and tell every customer this place is a piece of dog shit and I wish I didn't work here. Like, yeah. You can't do that either when you are representing a game. That's fine. But the fact that there's actually a clause in here that's like, yeah, you can't compare this to Overwatch, even though that's what this is insane.
Some contracts will say that, like, they'll be like, hey, we know this game is like that game. Please don't compare the two. But like usually that's more of like a word of mouth, like a social media manager be like, please save me the headache, don't do this. Versus like actual legal statement.
Yeah. There was a crazy backlash I've seen from people talking about this. What I have to say is that, first of all, if you're a content creator that's signing agreements, read your fucking agreements, first and foremost. If you don't agree to it, don't fucking sign it. Period. End of discussion. That's a no-brainer. Because there are plenty of people that don't review games that they're just like, they just want to play the new Marvel thing. This is perfect for them. What do they care? They're not going to say negative things because they're not reviewing it, right? They're just playing the game. I found it funny that there's literally the clause in here of like, please don't say it's Overwatch because it is so close. I don't know if you've seen like gameplay of it or whatever. I swear to God, the font is even the same. I swear to fucking God, it is the same game. It is so crazy, but it looks really fun because you play as like Iron Man and Hulk and stuff. And sometimes you do an attack where Hulk gives gamma radiation to Iron Man to empower his ultimate, and that's really cool. I really like that there's team-up attacks or whatever. I think it looks neat, but this is ridiculous. And I thought the backlash to it was equally as ridiculous because people need to read what they're fucking agreeing to. Just period. Always. It's weird that so many people agreed to this and then got mad about it when one dude actually read it and then posted it on Twitter. That's how they found out what they signed to. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? The Division Heartland, that free-to-play Division game, has been canceled after 3 years. The developer who was making it, Red Storm Entertainment, will be moved to work on Siege and X Defiant. So, which means they'll be working on Siege, because X Defiant will also probably shutter within a month. Because
I haven't heard X Defiant in a long time.
That game sucks. So that will be shuttered, surely. But yeah, I don't know. Division. This is the first thing I think Sean and I literally 2 weeks ago were saying, have you heard anything about the Division like recently at all? And it's like, no. Well, there we go, Sean. It's dead. The Division Heartland is dead. This one I pulled specifically because I wanted us to talk about it, you and I. Nintendo World Championships, NES Edition. Are you excited for this type of thing in 2024?
I was at first until I looked into what it was.
Okay, I kind of don't know fully what it is. Isn't it just basically NES Remix?
This is the problem. Yes and no.
Okay.
It is just the challenges of NES Remix, but with a leaderboard, time trials, etc., like tracking times and stuff like that. But they don't have any like the super goofy, weird, like, oh, play Super Luigi Brothers, where everyone goes from right to left instead, or like none of the fun, goofy NES Remix challenges. It's, as far as people can tell, it is straight up, get this mushroom, like do this faster, like get the sword faster, you know, defeat Wispy Woods faster. It's just pure time trials.
But I mean, people have been doing this on Twitch for 20 years. Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was NES Remix, essentially. Honestly,
if it had been, that would have been way more interesting, because I want NES Remix to come back.
Me too. I like NES Remix. I love it. I know some people were disappointed in it. I loved NES Remix. I thought it was great. Okay, well, that's a shame. If they did a Nintendo World Championship type like event thing, would you try to go to it?
If they let up, I tried to go to the one a couple years ago. So yeah. So if they do another one based off of this, yeah, I'm there day one.
Nice.
But like, I don't think they're going to do it, because I think it's just too much of a financial like liability, I guess. Like, how do they make money off of it?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
The multiplayer is local only. I mean, I get that. I sort of, because, you know, time trials, they don't want to have any lag latency, but still frustrating.
Also, they don't know how to do online. So yeah, it makes sense. Okay.
I don't even know what team in Nintendo is making this, so I wonder about that.
You didn't open up the next one yet, right?
No.
Okay. So Pokemon main series titles, sales figures were put together. Do you want to guess what the highest...
Oh my god, I'm going to be so bad at this. Pokemon makes so much money.
So this is units sold.
Oh, this is units sold, not cash. Okay.
Yeah. And I'll
try, but I'm going to be way off on a lot of these.
3, 4. Can you name the top 5?
The top 5? It's going to be either the Switch games or the original releases. So it's probably going to be Scarlet... actually, did Sword and Shield do better than Scarlet and Violet? Shit, I don't remember. 2 of them are going to be... okay, are they separated by version type, like Scarlet/Violet, or is
so I will tell you, I'll just say that you have 2 already. Sword/Shield are considered 1 entry. Scarlet/Violet are considered another. So you have 2 of 5.
Yeah, because just straight up, the Switch games always end up selling the best.
For sure.
By that same logic, Arceus might be up there.
No. Not in the top 5. It is on the list, of course.
All right. And you said you didn't mention red, blue, or green. So...
Red, blue, and green is in the top 5.
I was going to say, I figured those were. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're as 1 entry.
Is yellow separate, or what was in the same entry?
Yellow is separate.
Okay.
So you're missing 2.
Oh shit. Maybe no. Diamond, Pearl, Platinum probably is. No, yeah, probably Diamond, Pearl, Platinum.
That's number 5. So the one you're actually missing is number 4 currently.
Okay. Sun and Moon. No, X and Y. X and Y.
Nope. So X and Y was 6.
Ah, damn it. And Sun and Moon wasn't there either?
Sun and Moon is 7.
Ah, damn it. Well, what am I forgetting then? I mean, that really just leaves Game Boy Advance. So Fire Red, Leaf Green.
No, you missed
Or not,
gold.
no, sorry,
You missed
sorry.
gold, silver.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Duh. I
So
completely forgot about them.
So the top 5 are red, green, blue in first, with 31,380,000 units sold. Sword Shield is 26,270,000 units sold. Scarlet Violet, 24,920,000 sold. Gold Silver, 23,700,000 sold. And Diamond Pearl starts kind of a trend where they're all kind of close now. Is 17,670,000 sold. Can you guess the lowest amount if you were to just throw a random one out?
And it's mainline games. It's not like
It's mainline, yeah.
it's not spin-offs, not Battle Revolution or Pokemon Stadium or anything
No,
like that.
no.
The lowest selling mainline Pokemon game is probably Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Or one of those. It might be like Black 2, White 2.
That's 5th from the bottom, and that's 4th from the bottom.
Damn it.
So the ones going up from there, 3rd from the bottom is Platinum. Emerald is...
if they're counting those separately. So it's all going to be the combo ones then at that point.
Yeah. Emerald is the second worst, and then Crystal was the worst. The disparity
Makes
between
sense.
them is kind of crazy. So Crystal sold 6,300,000. Red, green, blue in the first is 31,380,000. The difference of 25 million units. Absolutely crazy. I figured I should throw some like fluff kind of fun things to talk about in here after so much negativity.
After all the depressing news.
Yeah, after all the negativity. Like Hades kind of dropped out of nowhere in early access. That was kind of cool. Hades 2 specifically, if that wasn't clear. I think Sean has played it, so have you? I guess I should ask.
I watched a friend play it, but I held off on it because I was like, I haven't been doing much PC gaming other than what I did on stream.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of the same way. With Hades 1, I did play it in early access the minute it dropped to see what it was, and then I put it down until it released in 1.0 and then played like the shit out of it, so I'm going to do the same. I don't want to burn myself out too early on it, I don't think. But I'm pretty sure Sean has been playing it, so he will talk more at length at that when he comes back. I'm sure, yeah.
I've been hearing rumblings that it apparently has more content than Hades 1 did already.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah, apparently it has already... It was something like, it already has like a little bit more than what was in Hades 1, but like they're not even close to being finished yet, which is insane to me. So I don't understand what that means, but Hades 1 had a lot of content in it. It had a lot of story stuff going on. Yeah, no, it's cool. I've been kind of trying this, like, if it's in early access, I'm just considering that it's not out, unless it's like an exceptional thing or something, because I can't do it anymore. There's so many games that are actually out that like I can't be quote unquote wasting my time with something that's just going to get better and better as it comes out. This Hades 2 dropping though caused the Rogue Prince of Persia, which was supposed to drop around the same time, to push back until 10 days from now, May 27th. So
which is funny because they literally put out a post saying like, straight up, we're all playing Hades 2. We're going to just move back a week.
Yep, it's pretty funny. And smart, too. They know that it occupies a very similar space for a lot of people. So, yeah, why would they shoot themselves in the foot? This is more recent now, finally. Assassin's Creed Shadow gets its first trailer. This was codenamed Assassin's Creed Red when they did that big Assassin's Creed announcement thing back a while ago. And Shadow is going to be an Assassin's Creed game that takes place in Japan, featuring a Japanese like shinobi type warrior woman and a samurai based on Yasuke, the black samurai that was I guess he wasn't a samurai, he was the assistant to Oda Nobunaga back in the day or whatever. So that's
cool.
Yeah, so that dude is actually like in a bunch of games. A lot of people base like samurai designs and stuff on him, so that's cool. one of the big things for this, they have confirmed there will be no connection needed to play the game. It won't be an always online thing. They specified you're going to need to be online to be able to download and install it, but like after that, you can play it offline, which is great. And it is apparently coming out November 15th, according to somebody pulling a screenshot from their announcement trailer YouTube description. So yeah, cool.
Meanwhile, Sean's mad that he has become the Assassin's Creed guy again.
Yeah, I mean, this one I think I might play. There's been a lot of really cool Japanese media coming out this year, so I'm very much in feudal Japan mode right now. So we'll see where I am in November, I suppose. But yeah, it looks neat. Final thing, just as a PSA, this was shown today, I believe. GTA 6 will be coming in the fall 2025 window. They have kind of narrowed down the date, so fall of next year is when we'll probably be seeing that, as long as it doesn't get pushed back.
Yeah, and then we have to get to wait another year before the online mode works.
And then 3 years until it's on PC. Yeah, it's going to be a long road. Okay, I feel better. That's news. News done. That was a lot. Questions?
Oh boy.
If you want to write in, it's TDP Podcast on Twitter. Oh my God, on X. The Discord channel, John's P.O. Box. Oh, and I guess gmail.com, topdownperspective@gmail.com. That's probably where you should send stuff so it doesn't get easily lost, but Discord's been working pretty good too, so that's another option. And you can be like Rasterman7, who writes in, what game would you replace the double jump for something else? Think of level design, mechanics, and everything that could potentially change as a consequence with this decision. Note, just to clarify, the double jump is already in the game, but you have to take it out and put something else there as a replacement. Bonus points if you don't answer with a different jumping variation.
I genuinely think more games should do Bionic Commando's gimmick, which was you can't
a grapple
jump.
Hook?
You have a grappling hook or get around instead. I like that restriction.
Okay.
Because it does make things more interesting in my argument. Although I had to laugh because Bionic Commando eventually gave you the ability to jump.
Yeah. Yeah, there is something kind of fun. It depends on the game, like how they do the game, for sure. I'm trying to think of like a mechanic that you could replace a double jump with that wouldn't kind of break every like thing made for a double jump. You could put like a wall climb in or whatever, but it's just kind of slower. Oh, what's that drill game that came out recently? Because that would be kind of cool, being able to
Pepper Grinder?
Drill through a wall and kind of shoot out of it instead of like
Pepper Grinder.
Pepper Grinder, yeah. That'd be kind of cool instead of a double jump, just drilling through a wall and then shooting out the top of it or whatever to get extra height.
Oh, V6 times is also a good idea too. Like you change the gravity of the game instead of jumping. So another game doing that be interesting.
That would be interesting. What was it? Metal Storm on the NES that did the similar. People should play Metal Storm, is what we're saying. That game is great. It's really fun. It's hard though. It gets really difficult.
But it's got unlimited continues at least. So
yeah, true. Everything that could potentially change as a consequence with this decision. The thing is that if you got rid of a double jump, like I was trying to think, because he said bonus answers if you don't answer with a different jump variation. If you got rid of just the double jump, honestly, not a whole lot would have to change. You would just need to be able to like grab onto a ledge and pull yourself up or something. Like you would just need, because double jumps, when they work the best, are just, if they're getting something off, it's just height, right? Like it's just something that you need a little more oomph to. So even if you did like a Super Mario 2 or Doki Doki, if whatever you want to call it, where you like do a power jump, that could also replace one. So you could get rid of double jumps, but then you're getting rid of fun. And I don't know, I don't want to get rid of fun in games. I try not to do that.
Yeah, didn't we all kind of agree that double jump's one of the more fun mechanics in a game?
Yeah, and then it just gets better if you had have a third jump. When a game gives you another jump, it just feels good. Like, it just feels good. So I don't know why you would want to get rid of it, but if you had to get rid of it, you would just have to put another variation to get a little bit higher. and it would be fine.
All right. Suka writes in and says, if you were alone in the woods, would you rather run into a random man or a genie shape-shifted into a bear? I can't believe we're doing this question.
You son of a bitch.
Are we assuming the genie will be nice, or is it another one of the genies that seems to curse us on a regular basis?
Into a random... Does a genie talk as a bear? Because my...
Yeah, or is it just going to be literally a bear, but it happens to be a genie?
Because, like, for who I am, I'm not scared of other people. Like, I'm not scared of another man. But I don't want to...
Yeah, but you're a dude.
That's what I mean, is that I'm not, like, scared of another man. So this question falls flat for me. I just don't want to talk to another dude. So if the genie just chills and, like... doesn't talk to me.
If the genie's a chill genie and not like I'm actually just a murder bear now, enjoy. Yeah. I'd take the dude. But if the genie's chill, like I take the genie.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the answer is probably random man, because if a genie actually existed and shapeshifted into a bear and was near me, it would ruin my perception of what life and the world is, which it would be earth shattering.
Mysticism is real.
I can't believe it. I won't.
Yeah, it also doesn't specify what kind of bear, so it could just be a teddy bear.
Oh yeah, true.
So I'll take the chance on the genie.
Yeah, you always were a magic sympathizer.
Yeah, one of them magician lovers.
All right. VGC Kenny writes, should the Game Awards have a retro Game of the Year category? The idea being that the committee chooses 6 or 7 games that didn't win the Game Awards because they couldn't because they came out before the Game Awards were a thing. So now they have this category where they could give that chance. Should it be divided by year, or just any 6, 7 old games at random in rotation? Alternatively, should they have a Hall of Fame and induct a retro game into it during the ceremony? So my answer is
the Hall of Fame's the better idea.
My answer is no, they absolutely should not. That's ridiculous. But because there's more to this question, we're going to go with yes, of course they should introduce it, because there's other stipulations here that I think are interesting. So should it be divided by year?
Absolutely. If you pick just 6 random games, like say which this is the best, then it's just a pissing contest at that point.
Totally. I'm just like, so how would you just start like at the beginning of like gaming essentially or whatever, and then see if you catch up eventually?
What year wins 1980? Is it Pong, Pac-Man, or Space Invaders?
Like, how would you decide the year?
This is the problem too. Who do you award the awards to? Some of those studios don't exist anymore.
Yep, true.
That's why the Hall of Fame is a better idea and actually already exists.
Yep. Yeah, no. A lot of this stuff, honestly, the weird thing is that like when people say Game Awards should do this or that, most of like the actual industry standard Game Awards that people care about do that stuff and talk about that stuff. The dumb big bullshit thing Jeff puts on is for sponsors and for us to like laugh about or whatever.
It's the spectacle.
But like the thing you want is like the BAFTAs, the DICE Awards. Like you want like industry stuff, and those exist for sure. I don't think they do like retro stuff in the way he wants or is talking about, but they definitely recognize like excellence and like in old stuff. You could do like 30-year ago awards. So like right now, this year, it would be like the Retro Game Award would be 1994 or whatever this game. You could just make it like a set amount of time back in the past, maybe, if you wanted to do by year.
I like the idea of it being like the 30-year ago award. Just picking like the biggest games that came out that year and letting them compete. Which
I'm curious now. Best games of 1994. Let's pull up a quick list.
94 would be Donkey Kong Country 2?
There's some heavy hitters here, honestly. We got Super Metroid,
Yeah.
Mega Man X2, probably not huge, honestly, that one.
No, that wouldn't be up there.
Final Fantasy 3/6, depending where
Yeah.
you live. Doom 2 was pretty big. Demon's Crest, unfortunately, wasn't big, but that game is fun. What else do we have? I'm trying to find other games that are more popular. Donkey Kong 1, apparently.
Oh, it was Country 1. Okay, never
Yeah.
mind.
Sonic 3.
Those are some really big games.
The first XCOM.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's a few games here that, like, I could actually see people being like, yo, Final Fantasy 3 probably deserves, like, a Lifetime Achievement Award. Like, yeah, I don't know. The thing is that it's not a bad idea to do a Retro Game of the Year category, necessarily. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. There's, like...
It doesn't make any sense for the Game Awards specifically, but for many other things, yeah.
You know what it does make sense for? Like a TDP Plus episode or something. Like something extra. So, I don't know. Maybe
we'll do that in the future.
Yeah, that's something we could do. Throw out a poll. Like, what year would you want us to, like, do a thing for? And then we could just do a fake Game of the Year thing for that year. That could be fun.
Phantom A just writes in and says, ahoy TDP crew, what's some advice you have in regards to networking? Just do it.
Yeah, like on a macro level, you have to learn how to talk to people. You have to talk to people. On a micro level, stuff that's a little more actionable. When I cared more about that stuff, you definitely need to have a wide variety of things you can talk about at a decent clip with, or at least understand. Like when I was much younger and I actually like talked to people going out like to like social situations or whatever, I knew a bunch about hockey at the time. I knew a bunch about games and movies and even books, like stuff that like if you have a conversation, you can actually have a conversation. So you need to like talk to people. And then the cheat code is that if you can do a project that requires you to work with them on something, that's all it is. And then from there, as long as you make a good impression, you can network with people they know and et cetera, et cetera. Like, how do you think a fucking nobody like me from Calgary, Alberta has talked to some of the biggest indie devs like in the world? Like, you just have to ask and talk to them. That's all it is.
Yeah, sometimes it really is just as simple as reaching out. It's kind of wild.
Yeah. I mean, you and I, the first time we
became
talked...
friends because you just asked me to be on a podcast. That was it.
And, like, I think the thing we actually talked about for a long time was music. It wasn't even games.
Yeah, because we were going to the same concert. We were both going to Muse
Yeah, Muse. So, yeah, like, I don't know, just be a well-rounded person and learn how to talk to... It's such a dumb, like, just be a decent person sort of thing, but that's what it is. Just, like, learn how to talk to people. It really does
boil down to that, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yep. Final question comes from BoardCo2. They say picking a penny up off the ground brings good luck. However, inflation has caused the economic value of a penny to decrease over the years. Do you think the luck you get by finding a penny has decreased as well?
I think the luck has increased because you can't find pennies anywhere now.
In Canada.
At least up here.
Yep, they're gone. So if you find a penny on the ground, that's actually the luckiest day of your life right now. It'll never get any better than that.
States might be a different story, but yeah, in Canada, if you find something, you're like, oh, wow, what happened here?
Yeah. It is a weird question because of, like, the different lived experiences right now where those don't exist up here anymore.
I think I still have, like, a tiny bank full of them here.
Yeah.
Worth like nothing. But
I'm sure I have, like, one in my couch or something. Like, they're places, but it's pretty rare. So I would think that it's more, you have more luck if you find them up here. If you find them down there, yeah, like it's probably a normal bad day, I guess. I don't know. All right. That's it for questions. That's it for news. That's it for a podcast. Actually, you know what? We didn't do too bad time-wise for how much there was to talk about. That was
an hour and a half.
Yeah, not too bad. Okay, again, if you want to write in, that's topdownperspective@gmail.com. That's TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, and John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week? You can give it to 2, because it's been 2 weeks.
Animal Well. Yeah, Animal Well and Crow County, probably. Or Crow Country. Yeah, I'm still doing it.
Cool. I'll give it to Power Surge. I still can't believe that I have talented friends. I won't believe it. As far as I'm concerned, somebody else made the game. I'm no longer.
I hate my friends. I don't believe that they're capable of things.
I don't believe it. But people should check them out. All right. Thanks for listening. Have a good one, and we'll see what happens with next week. Bye.
I won't be here. Bye, everybody. I'll see you at MomoCon if you're going.